All right, now we're live.
Yes. Good morning again. This is
Patrick.
And I'm Sherrie, and we are delighted again to be with you. This is going to be our last Saturday for now
Hosting.
that we're going to be hosting, but I tell you, it has been super fun. As you're coming in, if you notice that you're not muted, can you please do us a favor and mute because we are recording. This morning, we are super excited to introduce to some and present to others the person that's going to lead us this morning. However, this is participatory. She's going to guide, but we need to hear from you as she unlocks in your habit of health book. It's this book, guys. 1.5. Now, if you're super new and you don't have it yet, no worries. Grab a journal. Okay. If you're coming in, please mute if we haven't caught you. Okay, thank you. So to this morning, she's gonna unlock the bedrock of transformation, successful habit installation 1.5 in your habit of health book, and that is element 3 in your life book. And I want to share with you about Adrienne Williams. She is a sweetheart. She was a friend before she became a client, and she's so smart that 3 days into her journey, she wanted to coach. And this is what we said. We know you're excited and we know you're experiencing fat burn, but can you just allow us to take you through 1 week? Let's get you through 1 week and then we'll talk. And we did just that. The week after, her and her husband that you heard from already, Anthony, they became clients and coaches. The smart thing about that is from the top, as they are on their journey, they began to guide other people. And what that did, that's their pounds protection plan. It helped them to stay true to it because as we know, this is not a diet, this is lifelong transformation. And to date, she has lost 70 pounds and she's been coaching for 13 months. So without further ado, we bring to you Miss Adrienne Williams. Blessings, Adrienne, unmute and come on.
All right. Hello, everyone. So glad to be here in this place with you. Guys, put a 1 in the chat if you've really been enjoying book club. I have enjoyed it from day one. I get to be in this community with people that have the same passion about getting healthy and remaining healthy. So I cannot say thank you enough to my coaches, Patrick and Sherrie, for, for living out loud, because I watched them for about a year before I said, hey, what you doing? So I thank them for doing that and bringing me into this community where I've made many more friends and just having a great time. So yes, so we've been learning about first the last section where my husband Anthony and Carol were teaching from was about your fundamental choice. We know that we have to make the choice ourselves. Nobody can do it for us. It's got to be my choice. And then I can follow through with that. So now we're going to move on from there. And the first thing I noticed in here, it said the bedrock of transformation, bedrock, foundation. So this is going to be really important to lay a great foundation so that we can build upon that. So it says the bedrock of transformation, successful habit installation, successful. I want to read to you this first part and then we'll get right into it. And remember, this is participatory. I want to hear what's going on with you as well. So I want to go to page 105. When he starts off, I'm putting it all back on you because the most important piece in actually creating the sustainable transformation of your weight, health, and well-being is the development of your own ability to take ownership of your choices. This capability comes from your mastering the ability to create a series of small, sustainable changes in your daily choices that will over time create long-term change. And then he has a quote from the poet John Dryden that says, we first make our habits, then our habits make us. Right there, hit me right there. Wow, we first make our habits, then our habits make us. We're just a series, a compilation of habits. Whether they're good habits or bad habits, we have habits. And it's gonna take something to make the change. So one of the things that as we're talking about installing habits, okay? I noticed when I first came on this plan, I'm speaking from experience, when I first came on, I said, oh man, I got a habit that I gotta undo right away. I knew it coming in. And I want you to just let me know, put a 7 in the chat if this was you. I gotta start drinking water. No, real water, not carbonated water, but just plain old-fashioned water. And I hadn't drank water before. I wasn't drinking water. I remember there was a girl at my church and she asked me, it was probably one of the times I was trying to be healthy and everything. And she says, well, how much water are you drinking? And I said, well, I add water to my drinks, you know, to like my lemonade and stuff. I wasn't drinking any water. And I knew that I had to. So that was one of the first things that I had to change, a habit of disease, changing it to a habit of health. That was mine. What were some of yours? Who wants to come out and share the first thing they had to change that was just like, man, it's gonna be hard, but I know I've got to do it. Who wants to add something? Tell us about that.
I'll
One of your
share,
first
Adrienne.
habits you had to change.
I'll share. When I had toddlers, I would drink coffee that had lots of sugar in it all morning. And then I would snag a couple of dinosaur nuggets off their plate at lunchtime. Allie's laughing because she knows what I'm talking about. I see her. And then I might drink another coffee. So didn't drink water, but also didn't eat all day. And then it was just a downhill slide after that. I was so hungry the rest of the day. And so that was a big habit that I had to change, is just eating throughout the day instead of just grabbing things here and there that weren't nourishing my body. I really didn't think about eating healthy. Like I knew I wasn't eating too much, but I wasn't eating anything that had any nutrients in it to help me feel good. And it showed.
Thank you. Thank you,
I
Julie.
like
for sharing.
I like to share, piggyback on Julie. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I don't know why my video went out, but anyway, quick, sugar was one of my things. And when I say sugar, it was like my crack. It was, I like the rich, like creme brulee, cheesecake. I wasn't playing with the little sugar. I was, you know, I like white chocolate. You know, I had to get serious. Like my husband said, oh, you want to be the diva bougie, you know, with it. But I had to really do a sugar detox. And it took me a long time, but I got over it. And now when I taste something sweet, like I can't go back to that anymore. It does something to my body now. Like, you know, it just makes me sick. I actually get sick if it's too sweet. So I'm glad that I got over that.
All right. Thank you, Opal, for sharing. Let's go to Allie. I see your hand, and then Kevin, and then Yogi. Allie?
Hey, good morning, everybody. So similar to what Opal and Julie said. So when I started, and Kelly told me that I needed to like not have fruit in the beginning, I literally thought I might die. Like that's how much fruit I ate on a daily basis. I was like panicked, right? But it was the sugar. It was that sugar I was getting from the fruit. I didn't care that it seemed healthy. It was the sugar. And then the other thing was I had this mentality, and I don't know where it comes from, but everything my kids didn't eat on their plate. And when they gave it to me to, you know, throw in the garbage or put in the sink, it was like, how can I throw away 2 chicken nuggets, or how can I throw away 2 bites of a grilled cheese sandwich? So even though I just had my own meal, there I was shoving it in my mouth, all of it, 2 bites here, 3 bites here. Why I felt like I had to lick every knife I used for peanut butter and jelly, like instead of rinsing it in the sink, all of that stuff. I cannot believe how much I was doing until I stopped doing. You know, we talk a lot in this program about how it's not necessarily about becoming, it's about all the stuff mentally, physically, we have to unbecome. And there was a lot of things I had to leave in the dust and didn't think I could. But as the days went on and I wasn't doing it, the cravings were less and less and less. And so many things now that I never thought I could live without, I don't even want them anymore. In fact, when I taste them, it's like, kind of like Opal said, it's like, I don't even, how did I ever eat that much sweet stuff? So those 2 things were my big ones, but I'm very thankful that they are no longer in my life.
Wonderful. Thank you for sharing, Allie. Okay, let's go to Kevin, then Yogi, then Jody, then Corey, then Josie. We got a lot of shares. We love that. Go ahead, Kevin.
Hey guys. Yeah, I think for me, one of my biggest things was late night snacking. In that period of time after dinner, before bedtime, I had a bad habit of feeling like that was my time to kind of wind down. And I felt like I should reward myself with a sweet treat. And that would just become a habit that I would do like every day. And so when I started the program, I learned that, you know, I needed to break that habit, and then I needed to, you know, replace it with something else, or be drinking more water, or doing something other than having that sweet treat in between, you know, dinner and bedtime. And there are other ways to, you know, reward myself or relax and wind down other than using that as a crutch.
Excellent, excellent share. There are other ways to reward ourselves. Yogi.
Good morning, everybody. Just like many have said before me, I did not drink enough water. I often say that my sugar addiction was not with food, it was with sweet teas. I loved sweet teas. I could drink sweet tea all day long. And another habit I had to break, ironically, is that I had to start eating before 1 p.m. in the afternoon, because I wasn't a person who would break my fast from the night early in the morning like most normal people understand they should do. So those are 2 habits that I had to break.
Good. Thank you, Yogi. Jody.
Good morning, everybody. I actually had 2 major things I had to break. And the first was I came from the keto intermittent fasting world. So I had to retrain my brain around the fact that putting a bunch of fat in your body was not a good thing. And also, like Yogi had said, I didn't eat until 5 p.m. But the second thing that I had to break was my sugar habit came in the form of wine. And that was a habit that just at 5 o'clock, you poured yourself a glass of Prosecco or a glass of red wine. And that's just not a good habit that serves your body. So those 2 things took months for me to overcome, but I'm, you know, way past it now and have been coaching for a long time now too. So I'm happy to see all the shares this morning. Happy Saturday.
Awesome. Awesome. All right, Corey.
Good morning, everyone. So, you know, my share is kind of interesting because I started as a client with Rachel Richards when she first became a coach. And so for me, what I had to break this time around was I did the program. I lost 65 pounds, but I did it by torturing myself mentally. And I walked away from the program after losing 65 pounds and coaching for, probably a year. I walked away from the program because I let everybody else's opinions take me away from what was feeding my body and my mind, the community, all of it. And so, you know, for me mentally, it's not it's not a reward. It's not a punishment. It's not torturing myself with not eating. It's feeding life. So the mental side of it has been where I've had to be committed, coming into my own identity. You know, my faith is very important to me. So knowing where my identity lies has changed my mindset this time around, because I'm allowing my choices and my habits to breathe life into myself. And, you know, we have that choice. God gives us free will. And so choosing to do what I know is good for me. It's funny because I have autoimmune disease and I'm a 3-time cancer survivor, and Optavia literally changed my life. I went from sickness to the pillar of health, and I still let the chatter take over. I still let the chatter of others, like, it makes me so emotional. Tim and Rachel tried so hard to help me realize that I was getting in my own way. And so now to be back a part of the community, you know, there's so much shame. If there's any of you that are out there that are starting over after walking away and gaining your weight back and are afraid to stand up and rise, don't be afraid. Rise up and really embrace the community, because without each other, we will only fail. You know, be willing to be vulnerable and to be honest and to be open about your struggles. For the first time, I am real good at white knuckling. I am very driven, very type A. I can do anything and have, quote, success. But if you don't change the mental, it will not be a lifelong process.
Wow.
So just, yeah, it's been, you know, I've only been back on program like a week and a half, but I know the program well. And I work in the behavioral health and substance abuse field. And it's so funny because it doesn't matter. People think that addicts are the only ones that need emotional sobriety. We are all in the process of gaining emotional sobriety, gaining freedom from the roots, because all of us in some form or fashion have had an issue with the food and an issue with the mental side. And gaining true freedom, this program is really, truly a life-changing program. It's not a diet. And I never understood Rachel and Tim when they would say that to me. And it's really, truly a week and a half in, and I'm committed. I'm in my book. I'm making choices. I'm looking at things and saying, is that going to feed my health? Is that going to feed my future? It's not I can't have that. That's bad. That's not feeding my future. And you know what? There'll be a time where I can enjoy something once in a while and have balance, but that time is not today.
Wow.
Totally changed my program.
Corey, thank you so much for lifting up your hand today and really sharing from your heart with this community. I know if you heard what I heard, you've heard a lot. We could close the book and go home. But Corey, thank you. Just
You're
with that,
welcome.
it's helped so many people. Amen. Josie, let's hear from Josie.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, Josie.
Happy Saturday to everybody. I think my biggest struggle was eating every 2.5 hours. And then once I got that down, you know, I liked that at like 5 o'clock, I wasn't going to the refrigerator and like game off, you know, when I don't do that, you know, because my meals would turn into like 4,000 calorie meals. But my biggest fear is like staying in the moment, staying in today, because already as you guys are talking, I'm already thinking like next month I have 2 weddings, a wedding shower, a bachelorette, 60th anniversary. And that's my fear. Like, oh my God, what am I going to do? Am I going to go off plan? And I know me, my triggers are, if I go off plan, it's hard to get back on. You know, so that's where I'm at with that. I struggle with, I have to be honest, I struggle with my water intake, and I most definitely struggle with sugar. So, you know, last week I heard a lot about just like little micro habits, and that's what I'm just trying to stay focused on, because I know me. I know if I say tomorrow I'm going to, you know, talk to my coach, I'm going to drink all my water, and I'm going to set my alarm all day, and I'm not going to eat any sugar. It just seems to be overwhelming to me. So I like that, you know, this little micro habits at a time. And I think that, you know, if I can get that, I can, that's where I'm at there.
Josie, thank you.
Break it
Yes.
up. So go
So
ahead.
okay. So what I'm gonna do right now, and Ruben and Yolanda, I want you to hold on to what you're gonna share. Make a little note if you have to. We're gonna come to you. But I want to talk about just what everybody's been saying. We haven't came out just directly to say is, how do we make a habit? How do we create a habit? And we know on page 107, what is called the habit. We have a cue, a routine, then a reward. And I'll use myself as an example with the water. I knew I had to drink water. I knew it wasn't something I wasn't doing before. So I found myself a little water app, and I wanted something that was cute. So it was one where if I drank water, the body would fill up on my little person. And that made me feel good. So my cue, I set my alarm that every hour I was drinking water. So that was my cue. My routine was to drink the water, and then my reward, and your reward, this is the thing, it doesn't have to be something big, and it doesn't have to be like, oh, I drank all my water, now I'm gonna go have me a nice lemonade that's full of sugar and everything. No, my reward to me was good job. You're on the road to getting healthy. So your reward can be as simple as that. You know, just patting yourself on the back and saying, I'm doing it. So we know we have to have a cue, and then that's going to trigger the routine. And from the routine, we're going to create that habit. And the more we do it, the more it's going to solidify in us and become that habit, become a permanent thing. What I liked in here, what Dr. A was saying, he's talked about being consistent. And I highlighted on page 108, the key to your success is dependent on learning and using the Habits of Health installation system and systematically staying on the path to optimal health and well-being. At the core of our system is the very basic behavior of selecting your desired habit and consistently using that new healthy behavior until it is fully automated. So until it becomes something like, you know, nobody had to tell us to get up and brush our teeth this morning. We just automatically do that. Until it becomes something as automatic as brushing my teeth in the morning, I need to continually and consistently do that. I want to go to, I don't see Ruben's hand anymore. Ruben, you were next. And then I'll go to your sister.
Yeah, going back to the first one, the habit I had to change was believing in order to lift heavy weights, to lift big, I have to eat big. So I was eating 6 meals a day, but it was an actual big plate of spaghetti for two, just for me, you know, but it got me to my goal of lifting heavy weights. But I also looked like a straight wall, like what my friends say, that I look like a power lifter. And I was like, well, I think that's just a polite way of saying that I look fat, not healthy, you know? So that was the habit right now that I had to change with my new program now is that, and it's been working. And then for the new thing that you're just talking about of the cue, reward, and routine and reward was I did have to set my alarm, but my reward was actually the water or meal that I got to drink. You know,
Wow.
my
Yeah.
cue was my alarm, and then my routine was at this time I get to eat, and then my reward was I get to eat my mac and cheese. You know, I get to eat my penne. I get to drink my water, and the other reward is I get to take time away from work to do it. So
Nice.
it was fun for me. It was fun for me to do that because, like, yeah, everybody's working on airplanes. I get to take my little 3 seconds to drink my water or bite down my snack, and then I get to go back to working on an airplane. You know, so that was my reward, was a break.
All right. Well, great. Thank you, Ruben, for sharing. Thank you. Yolanda, let's hear your
Hi, right before Yolanda comes in, guys, because of the time, let's keep it short and sweet. We're loving it. Keep it rolling. Thank you. Go ahead, Yolanda.
Okay, guys. So yeah, with breaking the cue and having a habit and a routine, I heard in Coach Explore with Rachel yesterday, she mentioned, and this is something we have to remember with our clients, ourselves, everything, take us back to when we first started, having that cue and reward. What we really are is we're addicted to comfort. Doesn't matter what the situation is, we're addicted to comfort. And in order to break that, we have to have a cue. We have to have an action. We have to have a reward. We do. We're humans. We want that. So I think that was just something to remember, that it's comfort. We're addicted to comfort. Doesn't matter what the situation is or what our drive is. But for us, having that cue, having that reward is really the end result of stop, challenge, choose. I was a BLTer, bite, lick, taster, everything. Okay. And so even now I sing it. It's a song. Stop, challenge, choose, stop, challenge, choose, stop, challenge, choose. And it helps. Doesn't matter what it is. Emotional, food, doesn't matter what it is. Driving a car, getting irritated. It's all good.
Thank you, Yolanda. I want to add something real quickly under nudging the equilibrium of your life on page 108. It says, when you go to change a routine, you are disrupting one or more of these forces. And when that occurs, the forces of habit will always want to pull you back into equilibrium. So it takes that, what Yolanda was talking about, you have to really focus your mind on it. This has to be your desire. You have to give it your full attention. Otherwise, that equilibrium is going to pull you right back to that old habit and that old way. Tim.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Adrienne.
Morning.
So I just wanted to share, I think one of the things that I am still developing is the habit of not allowing how I'm feeling in the moment to drive my actions. I've been on this journey for about 5 years now, and the micro habits are amazing. They do become autonomous, but my feelings, I'm learning still not to allow them to override the habits that I have. And so, if that resonates with you, I think Corey talked about emotional sobriety. That's really the heart of it. And so if you're restarting today, or Josie, if you're thinking about those times that are coming, just remember, this is a muscle that you're going to develop over time. And I know for me, and I know for a lot of you, this is a lifetime journey. I think a lot of us, we think of it, if you're like me, we think of it like a destination, when I get to this weight or when I get to this place. But the reality is, it's going to be a lifetime of you being in community and helping other people is how you're going to remain healthy for the rest of your life. So thank you for letting me share.
Yes, thank you, Tim. Thank you. Alan.
Hey, yeah, I just wanted to share real quick. I don't know if anybody on here is like me, but in habit installation, a lot of times we'll jump off and we'll say, hey, yeah, I want to start drinking water, or I want to establish a good twilight routine or good morning routine, or whatever it is. Me, I have a tendency of approaching one and then realizing all of my habits are garbage and I need to change them. And then we get in this mind space of I've got to fix it all right now. And so it becomes so complex trying to establish all these cue routine rewards with 10 different things, when in actuality, a lot of times all it takes is one thing, and that halo effect starts to inherently take care of these other things down the line. So I would absolutely recommend, if it's feeling overwhelming, just start with little micro habits, of little things, and allow those things to really take hold and go from motivation to automation, and then go to the next one. And then when that one takes hold, go to the next one. You may turn around and find out a lot of these other things that you wanted to change just kind of changed on their own, and worked their way into being their own habits. So hope that helps.
Thank you, Alan. That was a great point, and it was very wise. I want to just conclude, guys, thank you so much. This was so much fun just hearing from everyone. We can learn from one another, and I just thank you for the opportunity of being able to guide the discussion. I want to end with this because we didn't get into it. Some people touched on it, Alan did and everything, but the micro habits, really read that page 111 and about how to install those micro habits. Is it appealing? Do I want to do it? Is it achievable? Can I actually do it? Is it easily activated? Is there a prompt that reminds me to do it? Really look at that and begin to evaluate it. One of the things I had to learn, I was that person he was talking about that was laying on the couch and then all of a sudden said, okay, I'm gonna run a marathon, and go out there and try and do it. And then, you drop the habit. So I love how Dr. A says, do something small. Small, sustainable changes will lead to long-term change. So start small and build on that. And as Alan brought out, have that halo effect where one will affect another. You'll get that motivation and so forth. So that's what I wanted to say. I also wanted to say this one thing. This works not just in our health, but in everything else. I'm actually, with one of my classes, we're doing habit installation. We did the structural tension chart. I teach 6th graders, and now we're doing habit installation. So I'm teaching them from this book. So I'm excited. Thank you all for having me, and turn it back over to Sherrie and Patrick.
That was so awesome. Let's give a thumbs up for everyone that participated this morning. Come on, y'all. Thumbs up to everyone. This
Awesome.
is beautiful.
Yeah,
and
fantastic.
I just wanted to just leave on this note. I hope you guys are starting to see now that a habit, according to what Dr. A says, it takes 66 days to form it. So here's what we want to do, those small, doable, micro habits, and then those micro habits over a long period of time. This is why this is lifelong transformation. And that's why it's really, really smart. Those of you that have not said yes to sponsoring, coaching, bringing people along with you, you really may want to talk to your coach this week, because I promise you, your coach is here to stay true to it. So I just want to encourage everyone, don't give up on you. Make a commitment to you. And the more time we stay in the mental gymnasium, we'll see that this is not a diet. So let's get real focused each week when we meet with our coach for 10 minutes as we're installing these habits. Let's get good at doing these little doable habits one at a time. And guess what? The scale is going to show. So have a wonderful weekend. Here's Patrick with the challenge.
The challenge is recognize that one habit that you want to work on this week. Just pick one, right? Just one. As Alan said, just pick one, and it'll morph into so many. But Dr. A says, we first make habits, then the habits make us. Go make yourself this week. A new you, all right? Enjoy the day. Have a super Saturday. Okay, guys?
Thanks, Adrienne.
Next week.
God
Bye-bye.
bless.